Still unemployed? My sister Victoria's voice cut through the wedding reception like a champagne flute shattering on marble, her microphone amplifying the words to all 200 guests at the Riverside Country Club. The chandeliers seemed to dim as every head turned toward me, sitting alone at table 12. But before I could even process the public humiliation, the bride's father, pharmaceutical titan Marcus Rothwell, leaned close to my ear and whispered 8 words that would flip this entire room upside down. How does someone go from family disappointment to industry titan without anyone noticing? The answer starts 3 years ago, but first, let me paint you the picture of this disaster. Victoria stood at the head table in her maid of honor dress, a stunning emerald creation that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent, holding the microphone like a weapon. Her new engagement ring caught the light, a cushion-cut diamond from her investment banker fiancé, and her smile was the same one she'd worn when she used to steal my Halloween candy and blame it on me. I just want to give a special shout-out to my baby sister Serena, she continued, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. She's between jobs right now, again, but we're all rooting for her to figure it out. Maybe by the next family wedding, right? Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. My mother, draped in St. John and disappointment, wouldn't meet my eyes. My father studied his whiskey like it contained the meaning of life. Around me, distant relatives and family friends shifted uncomfortably in their seats, that particular brand of second-hand embarrassment that makes people suddenly fascinated with their bread plates. I wore a simple black cocktail dress I'd bought at Nordstrom Rack, my grandmother's pearl earrings the only jewelry I owned that these people would recognize as real. To them, I was Serena Castillo, 29, perpetual failure, the one who dropped out of her MBA program, the one who played around with science instead of joining the family commercial real estate empire, the one who lived in a studio apartment in Pilsen while Victoria owned a Lincoln Park brownstone. What they didn't know, what I'd kept hidden for 3 excruciating years, was that I was also Dr. Serena Castillo, CEO of Nexus Biosystems. Marcus Rothwell knew, though. He leaned back in his chair, eyes twinkling with something between admiration and amusement. Your Aurora protocol just changed everything, he murmured, quiet enough that only I could hear. My board is calling an emergency meeting. You've made us all very, very wealthy. The Aurora protocol, my life's work. A revolutionary gene therapy delivery system that made targeted cancer treatment as simple as taking daily medication. 3 years of 18-hour days, failed experiments, empty ramen cups, and presentations to skeptical investors who thought a Latina dropout couldn't possibly understand bioengineering. But I understood it, and more importantly, I'd cracked it. Serena, are you even listening? Victoria's voice sliced through my thoughts. She'd moved on to the dance floor portion of her speech, still wielding that microphone. Remember when you said you'd cure cancer? So cute. Anyway, let's all raise a glass to the happy couple. The room erupted in applause for the bride and groom. I raised my water glass. I'd stopped drinking at family events years ago, needed to keep my walls up, and caught Marcus watching me. He raised his own champagne flute in a subtle salute, and I knew what was coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus stood, gently taking the microphone from Victoria. If I may, a brief toast from the father of the bride. The room quieted. Marcus Rothwell commanded attention wherever he went, silver-haired, sharp-suited, with the kind of presence that made boardrooms fall silent. He'd built Rothwell Pharmaceuticals from a small family pharmacy into a Fortune 500 company. When he spoke, people listened. Today, we celebrate love, he began, smiling at his daughter and new son-in-law, but we also celebrate the future. And speaking of the future, he turned, his gaze finding me at table 12. I'd like to acknowledge someone very special here tonight, someone whose work is about to change millions of lives. My mother straightened in her chair. Victoria's smile flickered. Dr. Serena Castillo, Marcus continued, and I heard my mother's sharp intake of breath at the title. Whose biotech company, Nexus Biosystems, just completed the largest pharmaceutical merger in the past decade. As of this morning, Rothwell Pharmaceuticals has acquired Nexus for $3.7 billion. The silence was complete, absolute. You could have heard a pin drop on the country club's Persian rugs. Her Aurora protocol, Marcus pressed on, clearly enjoying himself now, will revolutionize how we treat not just cancer, but autoimmune diseases, genetic disorders, and conditions we haven't even imagined yet. She did what our entire RD department couldn't do in 20 years, and she did it in a converted warehouse in Pilsen with a team of 5 brilliant minds who believed in her vision. Victoria's microphone hand had dropped to her side. Her face had gone from patronizing smile to something between shock and rage, the kind of expression she used to wear when I beat her at anything as kids. So please, Marcus raised his glass higher. Join me in toasting not just my daughter's happiness, but Dr. Castillo's extraordinary achievement. To the future of medicine. The room erupted. Half the guests were on their phones, Googling frantically. The other half stared at me like I'd grown a second head. My phone, on silent, lit up with notification after notification as the business world caught wind of the announcement. My mother was the first to reach me, tears streaming down her carefully made-up face. Mija, why didn't you tell us? You never asked. I said simply, you assumed I was failing, so I let you assume. Behind her, my father approached, his expression unreadable. 4 years, he'd pitched me on joining Castillo Properties. Couldn't understand why I'd waste my time on playing with test tubes when there was real money in real estate. 7 billion? He asked quietly. My personal stake after investor payouts is about 3 billion, I confirmed, but it was never about the money, Dad. It was about proving that cancer doesn't always win, that someone who looks like me, from where I come from, could change the world. But you let us think. Victoria had materialized at his elbow, her perfect makeup starting to crack. You came to Christmas in that old Honda. You borrowed money from Mom for groceries. I paid her back, I said, and that Honda runs perfectly fine. Just because I had venture capital funding didn't mean I was liquid. Every cent went back into research. This is about me, isn't it? Victoria's voice pitched higher. You wanted to embarrass me at my friend's wedding. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. The golden child who'd never been told no, who'd been handed a vice president position at Dad's company straight out of college, who measured her worth in square footage and stock options. No, Vic, I said gently, this was never about you. That's what you can't understand. I didn't hide my success to hurt you. I hid it because I needed to know who actually cared about me versus my net worth. And today's speech? That told me everything I needed to know. Marcus appeared at my elbow. Dr. Castillo, I hate to pull you away, but there are several people here who'd like to discuss partnerships. The medical community is buzzing. I stood, smoothing my Nordstrom rack dress. Around the room, I caught eyes following me, some calculating, some ashamed, some simply stunned. My high school chemistry teacher was here, tears in her eyes. She'd written one of my first recommendation letters, believed in me when I was just a kid with big dreams and bigger questions. Serena, wait. My mother caught my hand. We need to talk. As a family, we will, I promised, but not tonight. Tonight is about the bride and groom. I squeezed her hand. Enjoy the party, Mom. As I walked away, I heard the whispers starting, spreading through the room like wildfire. The dropout who wasn't. The failure who'd quietly succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. The little sister who'd built an empire while they weren't looking. My phone buzzed, a text from my COO, Dr. Yuki Tanaka. Did you really let Marcus announce at a wedding? You beautiful chaos agent. Team is popping champagne. CNN wants an interview Monday. I smiled, typing back, tell CNN Tuesday. Monday I'm sleeping in. First time in 3 years. The valet brought my old Honda around, 2012 Civic. 180,000 miles. And still running strong. As I slid into the driver's seat, I caught a glimpse of the reception through the country club's windows. Victoria trying to reclaim control of her party, guests clustering in excited groups, my parents surrounded by people suddenly very interested in the Castillo family. 3 years ago, I'd stood in my empty lab, holding rejection letter number 37, wondering if they were right, if I was too young, too inexperienced, too ambitious, if I should just give up and take that desk at Castillo Properties. Instead, I'd taped that rejection to the wall with the others. Motivation wallpaper, Yuki called it. Proof that the only person who needed to believe in your dreams was you. My phone rang. Marcus Rothwell. Dr. Castillo, I hope I didn't overstep, but after your sister's speech, I felt the truth needed its moment. Thank you, Marcus, for everything, for taking a chance on a nobody with a wild idea. He chuckled. You were never a nobody, Serena. You were just quietly becoming somebody extraordinary. The world's about to learn what I've known for months. You're going to change everything. As I drove through the Chicago streets toward my Pilsen studio, which I'd be keeping, thank you very much. It was home. I thought about Monday's interview, the medical journals lined up, the speaking engagements, the cancer patients who'd have hope. But tonight I was going to order Thai food, watch Netflix in my pajamas, and maybe finally frame that first dollar Nexus ever earned. The one taped to my refrigerator between a photo of my team and my grandmother's prayer card. Because success wasn't about proving others wrong, it was about proving yourself right. And somewhere in Chicago, 200 wedding guests were learning that the hard way. My sister wanted me to figure it out by the next family wedding. I smiled, merging onto the highway. Mission accomplished.